Hi everyone, I'm Michael.
And I'm Patrick, and you're watching another episode of Star Wars News and Views. Today we'll be discussing Episode 7, which now has a title.
Wow. I bet you've never heard this before. Unfortunately, I think we're 5 or 6 days late now, whatever it is. But even if we were 5 or 6 hours late, you would have already heard about it. So we're not going to be focusing on the reveal. Because this was on BBC and stuff like that when reporting on it.
Anyone with a Twitter account could have easily seen it just because it's on
anyone
Star Wars Twitter.
Anyone who was alive knows about this.
Who had access to the internet in any way, shape, or form. Yeah. So the title is The Force Awakens.
I think it's a fine title. Yeah. It's nothing too surprising or mind-blowing, but at the same time, like A New Hope.
Yeah.
It's kind of a simple title.
It's just as ambiguous as A New Hope. The Force, I mean, I guess it's not that ambiguous, but The Force Awakens, that's it. There's no mention of Sith or Jedi or anything. It's just the Force.
It's not as cryptic as Phantom Menace because when they announced the Phantom Menace, people were like, well, what the heck does that mean? Yeah. And then they went and saw the film and they were like, I still don't know what that means. I mean, the Phantom Menace is Darth Sidious. It's like this threat that they don't know
behind
about
the
yet.
Scenes,
But it was not as obvious. But stuff like A New Hope or Return of the Jedi, it's very straightforward. And The Force Awakens, I feel,
and it kind of leads into a good feeling for rejuvenation of the series to come up. It's going to restart again, and we're going to see this whole new series come from this. So that's pretty exciting. I like it too. What that means for the series, though, like I was saying, I think, is that it leads into this. The Force has been gone for a while, and now in Episode 7, we're gonna see it come back. It's making a comeback. There's gonna be a whole new. I don't know if there's gonna be more Jedi, but it might lead into Luke Skywalker coming out of hiding. They're gonna need the Jedi for some reason, and that's kind of gonna go for the search for Luke, right?
Yeah, well, that's a big rumor. We haven't really discussed this all that much, but a consistent rumor is that Luke has been missing for 20 years. He's been in isolation, and now he's coming back, and so that's The Force Awakens. I think that's my interpretation of it anyway.
Yeah, mine too. And also, if he has to train another Jedi like Kurosola, which is kind of the leading theory right now, is he has to awaken the Force in her too, maybe?
Yeah, because I guess there's really only one Jedi. There must be a threat that's really bad. They're like, okay, we need a Jedi for this, and there's only one of them, and it's Luke, and we have no idea where he is.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have to bring him out of retirement.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's interesting, people made people noticed this when they announced it on Twitter. They didn't say Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. They just said Star Wars, The Force Awakens. And the rumor is that the way they're going to market this is they're not going to emphasize the episode number. They're going to do it like the original trilogy, because in the original trilogy was coming out, no one called it Episode 4, A New Hope. They didn't even call it A New Hope. They just called it Star Wars. But no one called it Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. It's only in the last decade or so that people started referring to Empire Strikes Back as Episode 5. Yeah. And to me, being more of an old school guy, that was kind of weird, because I'm like, don't call it Episode 5. It's Empire Strikes Back. Yeah. And if you look at it, that all changed with the prequels, because if you look at the marketing of the prequels, even in the posters and stuff like that, it was Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. It was the font for Episode 3 was huge, and then Revenge of the Sith, the actual title was this little thing on the bottom. Yeah. And so the way they're gonna do it is Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. It's The Force Awakens.
I like the 3-word blurb after the title of the movie that kind of gives you an idea of what it's about, and it kind of, I don't know, it's a cool little title emphasis for it. I think just calling it Episode 1 and Episode 2 is kind of a little bit more boring in my mind.
That worked for the prequel, because everyone was about we're seeing the prequels. It's Episode 1. It's the beginning, right? Yeah. So it kind of made sense for the time, but that we don't really need to do that anymore. It kind of makes more sense to do it just the title of the movie, just going back to the original trilogy, and also it seems like J.J. Abrams is really trying to go back to the old ways of the original trilogy.
I hope that they don't follow the Batman trilogy and do The Force Awakens and then The Dark Force and then The Dark Force Rises.
The Force goes to sleep.
Yeah.
That'll be the third one.
The Force Awakens. The Force hits snooze. The Force rolls over.
So I guess that's all we're going to talk about for today.
Yeah. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to us. Comment. We love reading them. They're always a good thing.
Leave us your thoughts on what you guys think of the title, because a lot of people like it. There's not that much hate on it, because I know when Attack of the Clones came out, people were saying Even Ewan McGregor, they were interviewing him in line. He was like premiering another movie. I can't remember what the movie was. And they're like, what do you think of Attack of the Clones? He's like, I don't know. I haven't seen it. And they're like, no, that's the title of episode 2. And he's like, is it? That's a terrible title. He actually said on camera, that's a terrible, terrible title. So this is much less controversial.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's maybe not quite as unique. But in that way, that's what kind of makes it work. It's very straightforward.
Yeah.
So tell us what you guys think of it. And we'll see you in the next episode.